What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of the Peach State Power Hour presented by UJSports.com and M. Jones Heating and Cooling, your number one service provider for your HVAC needs here in the metro Atlanta area. I'm your host, Paul Maharry, joined alongside Andy, Stowe, and Eddie from Acworth. Great, amazing SEC championship game. We've got a lot to discuss on that. Also, the college football playoff rankings are officially, the bracket is officially out. We will go kind of break that down for you guys. And I don't think we'll have enough time to talk about the Falcons, but they're in there. We do have a little bit of time in the last part of the show to discuss the GHSA high school football championships, which will be going on next week, right? So looking forward to that. Guys, if it's your first time watching with us, we appreciate you joining in. Glad you could find us here on this fine Sunday evening. If it's your 50th time watching this with us, we appreciate you. Let us know you're in the comments section. We'll put your comments up on the screen. And you are just as much a part of this show as Andy, Eddie, and myself are. So we want you to be getting your questions out there. We already got a few. Scott Anderson's in the building. We got Phyllis. We got Mountain Man, John Green, Garrett Key, Marsh Mutt, Lucky Man, and Alex Page. I mean, just an all-star list of folks right there.
Yeah.
It is possible that I actually have a number 14 jersey when it was David Green.
Ooh.
I just saw Alex post. Ooh, I'm gonna have that may be getting recycled to be the mountain man himself.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's quite a few of those that are getting recycled, some old school. And speaking of which, before we get going real quick, guys, Andy, how was your weekend? And then if you could pass it to Eddie, that'd be great.
The Dawgs are the SEC champions. After all the stuff that's going on this year, struggle here and there, and they are still the SEC champions. And they sent little old Texas back to Texas. They were talking junk. Going to win the SEC in their first year, and still Kirby and the Dawgs are on top. So my weekend was great. I got a little bit older on Friday, so we just had a little birthday dinner. So, hey, I'm having a good weekend.
Happy birthday, buddy. Happy birthday.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Eddie, what about you? I know you're older, like real old, but how.
You see what I'm doing here? You see what I'm doing here?
This is anymore, Andy. Oh,
this
sorry.
This is the you could do this for hello and goodbye, right? You could do this for hello and goodbye. So hello.
Do you practice these intros? Do you practice these intros?
No, I just think about them, Paul. I do show prep, which is something you might ought to consider. So this is hello to Gunnar Stockton as our quarterback. And this is also goodbye to Alabama.
I thought you were about.
I was going to say that's really harsh, dude. If you were about to do what I thought you were going to do,
I did too.
Hello, Gunnar Stockton. Goodbye, Alabama. So there you go. That's and I'm as happy as a pig in slop after what I saw today. It started Friday night with the Hawks beating the Lakers. I know you don't care about that. And the weekend just got better and better. And I didn't let the Falcons ruin my weekend. So there you
go. So big things happen, guys. Big things happen with the Georgia football team. A month ago, Garrett Key sent us in a group chat to a few of us. Said a month ago, this team was out of the playoff.
You were.
There was no chance. And now you have won the SEC championship. You've got you're second overall. You've got the number 2 seed. The path to victory looks easy on Georgia's side of the bracket. But we'll break it down. We'll get into it a little later. But before we do that, Georgia did win 22-19. And let's just kind of get some reactions. What are you feeling after 24 hours of when it went to overtime, guys, I was like, damn, here we go again. Like there's just no way. Right. And with everything that went on, that game was not, I mean, obviously it was nowhere near out of reach, and they had to go to their backup quarterback. And he came in that first drive in the third quarter was something magical.
Zipping the ball too, like throwing the ball. That's the crazy thing.
So 24 hours later, we don't know the status of Carson Beck. Right. It has not been released yet. You can speculate all you want. And that's probably what we'll do on this show. We'll do the what if. Right. But we truly don't know. Like, I'm not holding anything back from you guys. I spoke to a couple of sources prior to this show. Like, it hasn't been released yet. Georgia's holding that pretty tight to the vest.
Right.
But
Paul, we all have eyes. I mean, we saw
eyes,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. No.
Yeah. It's I don't think he'll be back this year. But again, that's me speculating and assuming. I don't want to do that. But we will play the what if game with Gunnar being there. So just overall, though, the game 22-19, Eddie, what'd you see?
Well, you laid it out beautifully, Paul, and I wanted to kind of start with like a 30,000 overlook view of this team. And you mentioned it, what, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, like Keith said, when we lost to Ole Miss, this team was dead, right? We were out of the playoffs. And this team, you guys will agree with me, have driven us crazy every game, just driven us nuts. Okay. My liver is going to fall out of my body if this right now. It's what's going to happen. But the last 2 weeks are the greatest 2 weeks I've ever seen for Georgia football. Literally. I have never witnessed anything like I've seen in the 8 overtimes last weekend to now this overtime game. And again, I think we had no business winning this football game. Okay. I really didn't until, I mean, I know what you're saying, Andy, but I mean, we got outplayed in that. In the first half, I think Texas blew it. They should have blown us out of the game. They didn't, and we took advantage of it. But I'll say this real quick. Again, as an overall view, I think we have watched Bama, other teams, get the benefit of the doubt. The refs, the balls, all the bounces. I started to think last night, Georgia's becoming that team where we get the benefit of the doubt. There were a lot of calls. Listen to Sark at halftime. He talked about, are they ever going to call holding on Georgia? You know, we're getting a lot of calls. The balls that bounced our way, those 2 fumbles that happened as we're going in to score, and we just happened to land on the football. How about the throw Gunner made backwards? And that sucker bounced about 25 yards to get out of bounds. If that's Bama, they pick up the ball and run that in for a touchdown. I just feel like everything is finally coming our way. And isn't it nice to see?
Well, one, you can tell Sark to have another 6-pack if that's still bothered, because every time they called the holdings, they would show it on TV and they were clearly holding them. So
I'm not disputing that, but I'm just saying overall, Andy, you got to say the refs, they kind of, the calls are coming our way. Are they not? Am I wrong about that?
I mean, I didn't see any calls that I necessarily thought like, oh my God, we just hosed them. I mean, were there any of those calls? I didn't see any of that. And when
Dan Jackson makes that hit across the middle, I mean, that could have been, most people are saying that's targeting, that, and it wasn't called, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Go ahead.
But they could have called targeting on Texas as well. And like I was listening to Jeff Dantzler and Kevin Butler, and Butler's like, he's like, it looked like targeting to me. He's like, I've watched it over, and he said he led with it. So I don't know. Regardless, I just know that, like you said, we used to not do this, and now we do. That is the difference when you have Kirby Smart leading us, and nothing against anybody else has been the coach here, but Kirby Smart has took us from good to great, and we deserve these calls. I mean, just remember, Tyler Simmons was on sides, and we didn't get that call, so that cost us a national championship. And you didn't hear Kirby crying like a little baby like Sark, so Sark can get him a 6-pack, and he can do all that weird stuff he does, and we'll be playing for more championships. So, but it does suck that Carson Beck got hurt, because that's the guy that started 27 games for us now. That's a lot. And he's went to Alabama. He's went to Ole Miss. He's went to Auburn. He's done it in Texas. Where else he started games? That's going to be hard to lose. That's a big loss, I think.
Yeah, I think folks are maybe a little high on Gunner, right, because of what happened last night.
Yeah, for sure. He looked good. He looked good. I mean,
slow the roll.
Look, I will also say, though, Eddie, you give 3.5 weeks to Mike Bobo to prepare a game plan around Gunner. Because here's the thing. You cannot go out there with the same offensive game plan.
No.
So this
is not Fatone Bauta as a pocket passer, right? I mean, he knows
this is one of those things where you've got to look at it and go, all right, we've got 3.5 weeks to really kind of build a new offense. Like they needed to win that game last night, not just because obviously, the bye, but they needed that time off because Carson got hurt. Had they had to flip the script and do a 2-week offense, it just wouldn't look that great. Now, again, we're speculating if Carson is out, but again, you said, Eddie, we all have eyes, right? So you've got to go in now and create a whole different type of game plan for Gunner. And what it does for you, though, guys, and you guys have mentioned this already, is opens up the run game for you, opens up that RPO for you. Because let's be honest, the deep balls, Carson can get them there. How many times are they getting caught?
So it's not like we're the most prolific passing team with Carson anyway. So
here's the problem, though, with a Gunnar Stockton-led football team is now you can really load that box.
You can.
And you're going to make him have to throw the ball.
But it looks like he can, though. That first drive, he
had some tight spirals and things like that, but there wasn't a pass over 18 yards from him that entire game. So we didn't see anything go downfield. The longest downfield pass was the 1-2 loss in Lucky, that he tapped in. And that was, I think, 15 yards. The other one, the first pass was to Arian Smith for 18, but Arian kind of took that and ran with it. The longest in the air pass was, I think, 15 yards.
Okay.
So can he go downfield? Sure. Were they calling that? Probably not. Right. Like there's different things there, but what it does do is that RPO really helps you out tremendously. And it's something George has been missing. And not to say like you in the middle of the season, you don't have time to change up your offense. Even if right, when Beck was going through it, Kirby stuck with his guy. Let's give him credit for that. He stuck with him and he bounced back and he crushed it the latter half of the season. Even if he wanted to switch it up and say, hey, let's go with Gunnar in the middle of the season, you have to change up the entire offense for that to happen. They're two different type of quarterbacks. So you can't do that. Now's your chance to do that. You have that opportunity now. So it's one of those things that you look at and go, I don't know any team in college football that could lose their quarterback and could win a national title, but the Dawgs for some reason have that chance.
It feels like they can, right? It does. But the thing is, we talk about making the changes on the offense. You saw Mike Bobo do that immediately. Our offense, I know they had halftime, but immediately they did it. That was the thing. They started doing the quarterback runs, and I know that he didn't trust him to make the throws, and I get it. So I understand that, but they immediately started doing more of the RPO. Like, and I saw someone comment, we do run RPOs, but Beck's just not a threat to hold it. Really.
Yeah, that's not an RPO.
Right. I mean, it's right.
Yeah, I guess it's there, right? But
it's a PO, right? It's a PO.
Yeah. I mean, pass option, but it's not the traditional RPO. But you saw immediately it went to that, and you saw Gunnar making some plays, making some throws, and he gives you that ability. And you could see he sticks the ball out. And when they do the play action, it was making the linebackers, they were freezing for a second because they knew he can keep it and go. That's a whole nother dynamic we haven't seen since Stetson was the quarterback.
So two things give me pause here. Andy, you bring up a great point, and I was thinking the same thing. Bobo made that adjustment on the fly. He had to do that at halftime, and we saw it play out. Two things give me pause here. One, it's a totally different scenario going into a game at halftime. Texas is not prepared for what you do with your legs. They did not prepare for that, and Gunnar took advantage of that. It's a different scenario when you got,
3 weeks, 4 weeks,
a week and a half. Well, I'm just saying, let's just say we play Notre Dame. They have a week and a half to prepare for Gunnar Stockton, and he's the starter, okay? That's a totally different scenario. When he knows going to bed every night, I'm going to be the starter Saturday. I'm going to be the starter Saturday. Totally different. Two, that throw he made in a panic situation, that pick was horrible. Okay. Yeah. That is a pick that I don't think Beck makes. He does not throw that ball like that. He gets rid of it or takes the sack because he knows we need 3 points here. And that was a horrible play. So that's in there. That's a rookie mistake. I know he's not a rookie, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what gives me a little pause here. I'm not saying he can't do it, but there's going to be things. It's a process here. And I don't know that we have time for a process. Okay.
We have 3.5 weeks. That's the good thing. That's the good thing. And you're going to look at it. We're either going to play Notre Dame or Indiana. Notre Dame and Indiana aren't worried about playing the Georgia Bulldogs right now. They're worried about playing Notre Dame and Indiana. Georgia Bulldogs are focused on who's that starting quarterback, getting them ready, and not to mention we may need a new punter too. But they're focused on that offense. We don't have to worry about. I mean, Kirby, he always says they don't even pay attention to who they're playing until the week out, so they can work on them for the next 2 weeks and then figure out who they're playing. So it sucks he's hurt, but at least we do have that time. It gives us a little bit of time to figure out what to do, how to make the changes. And if Gunner's the guy, he's going to get all the reps in practice. So,
Paul, throw it back to you. Paul, throw it back to you. Can we win a national championship with Gunnar Stockton as a starter for the next 3 games?
I think there's a couple of variables there, and I know that you don't like that because you want a yes or no answer. do you get the defense that showed up against Texas both games, or do you get the defense that showed up against Alabama and Georgia Tech? I mean,
Ole Miss, right?
Do you get ETN running like a madman last night? So there's a
that's fair. I mean, there's a lot. I understand.
Look, I don't think he can win you a national title by himself, and I don't think he can lose you a national title by himself. If that's what you're asking, I think that this team is built around more than just a quarterback, because we saw that Carson threw 3 picks and they were able to win games. Like, this team is built around more than just the quarterback play. Okay. I see some folks saying give Rashada some reps if Beck is done for the seasons. KC said that. So Rashada, guys, he's 4th on the depth chart. If you listen to Kirby's press conference, and I've told you guys this time again, you go listen to Kirby. He'll tell you what you want to hear. It's just like like I said. What did I say 2 weeks ago, Andy? It's just like the preacher. You go in there and you listen to the sermon. He's talking to you.
He's talking. He may not say it directly, like, Andy, you need to do this, but he's going to tell it to you.
Yeah, but you can hear it right there. He's talking to you. Yeah.
He said in the press conference, guys, he said they were getting ready to put Puglisi in, but an offensive staff coach came over and said Beck can hand the ball off. So they didn't go to Puglisi. That tells you, again, he's not going to come out and tell you who his 3rd string quarterback is, but he just told you Puglisi is that next guy. So that's where that stands. So kind of put that Rashada thing to bed. Now, does that change? I don't know if that changes, right? With Beck being out.
If it was going to change, it would have changed weeks and weeks ago.
So, it's one of those things. Beyond Creative says, did this happen with Ohio State when JT Barrett got hurt and Cardell Jones took over?
That's right.
Yeah. I've heard that a lot. Yeah, no doubt.
Let me ask both of you guys: Can Georgia win a national title with Gunner?
I'll take it, Eddie. Yes, I think they can, because I think it opens up a dynamic that we haven't seen. We now can run the ball better because we have a running option. Do I think he's going to go out and throw 350 yards? No. But if he just doesn't make the crazy throws like he did last night when he panicked, if he can keep that in check, can he beat Notre Dame or Indiana? Heck yeah, he can beat Notre Dame or Indiana. And Oregon's going to be tough, but I think we can bully ball those guys. And if we're able to bully ball them, and if he can hit just a few plays down the field, yes, I say we can win a national championship with Gunner. Yes.
I know I've been back and forth with James Caraway, our buddy, on this. He doesn't have a care in the world about Gunner being our starter. I do. Okay. I feel more, I'll put it this way. I feel more confident with us winning a national championship with Carson Beck as our starting quarterback. Okay. Yeah. I just do.
Look, I don't think anybody feels more confident with Gunner at the starting quarterback than Carson.
But can Gunner do it? Do you think Gunner can lead them? And Chet, and love you, dude. I wouldn't go Stetson.
I have a lot of pause, because I think a rookie, and I keep saying that, I know he's not a rookie. I think rookie mistakes are going to happen. They are going to happen. Okay. And Carson Beck, yes, he's been okay most of the year. We don't win the past 4 games if Carson Beck is not our quarterback. I know he's had moments where he's been terrible, but he has won us those 4 games. Okay.
Well, Eddie, when Carson is the starting, like
now he was horrible in the first half against Texas. If he comes out by the way, we're just glossing over this, the elephant in the room. I thought that play and all of that at the end of the first half by Kirby was horrible. What are you doing? Just punt it or take a knee or try the damn field goal. Why are you putting your quarterback in harm's way at that point in the game? I thought that was terrible, Paul. Do you not agree with that?
They did that. There was another play like that, very similar, I want to say, that happened, and Carson was able to get away from. Didn't he get hit in a game a couple of weeks ago? Because I looked at it and I was like, that's the same thing that just happened. They tried to go for like a Hail Mary pass and Carson got hit. Just this time he got
drilled,
disposed. Yeah. Real quick, shout out to Mountain Man. Became a YouTube member, baby.
He's the best. Mountain Man's the best.
Love it. I'm sure if Kirby could go back and try to kick that field goal, he probably would, right? Because
just try it, right?
While I am trying to be a good host here, we can move on to the next segment, which is always fun, because not that I want to speed run through this, but I do want to get to the brackets fairly quick if we can. So,
sure.
but the M. Jones player of the game, guys, M. Jones Heating and Cooling, they're the guys. They're your HVAC experts. They've got a phone number here. Email Matthew or Michael, the two owners. But if you want, hit this mjoneshvac.com, first, last name, email address, phone number, put the message in there that were sent to them by UGAsports.com. 5% off of all new installs, 10% off of repairs, guys. mjoneshvac.com. Huge Dog fans, really trusted guys. There's a phone number right up there, 470-529-7771. If your furnace isn't turning on, it's getting a little cold, guys. Hit them up and let them know.
When the Dogs play their next game, guys, is when everything changes for HVAC.
That's
Get
right.
it done before their next game.
January 1st.
Yep. So there you go. And with that, KC gave us $2. He said, Beck or Gunner, our defense put team on back. They surely did. They surely did.
That's true.
And with that, the M. Jones player of the game, we'll do the consensus last, right? We build up a little suspense to it. Andy, who you got first?
Well, I took
my guy.
Dude, I took Warren Brinson. He was a wrecking ball all night long. He had 4 total tackles, 3 solo, a sack, and he had 2.5 tackles for loss. That dude was not – I mean, he's only got 4 total tackles, but he had guys trying to block him, and other guys are coming in to get pressure on the quarterback. That may have been the best game I've seen him play since he's been at Georgia.
He was really good. He was wreaking havoc, no doubt.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he had a great game. So yeah, he is my M. Jones player of the game.
Hey, and every time you watch the line of scrimmage, Andy, which I know you do, that thing was being pushed back by him.
Yeah, it was.
He was blowing it up. I love it.
Kirby talks about havoc plays. That's a havoc play all night long.
Yeah, he looked amazing. He's the closest Georgia's looked, and this sounds crazy, to
I know.
Jalen Carter.
That's fine. Say it.
Yeah.
The closest somebody's looked at Jalen Carter since Jalen Carter left was last night.
I mean, he was a wrecking ball all night long. He was.
The other thing is Ruby May over on Facebook says, I'm single. You can add me up. So Ruby May, Andy, go ahead and hit her up. I'm going to actually block her out of the chat. But I'm sure you can find her.
Give me a call. Yeah. 41 years old right here. Thanks everybody for the birthday wishes. So.
Eddie, who you got?
ETN. 16 for 94. In the second half, guys, including the overtime, he had 12 carries for 90 yards, 7.5 yards per carry. And, of course, he had the 2 TDs. He's a different back, and I'll apologize to you, Paul, because I said in the chat, hey, ETN hasn't impressed me this year. He impressed the hell out of me because he was healthy in this game. He's a dude.
Well,
okay?
You know,
and I just watched an interview with him and Holly Rowe. I don't know if y'all saw that, where he talked about, okay, he's grinning ear to ear because he's happy to be here. He just won a championship, and he's going for even more. That's why I love that guy. Baller.
And he's not, like I said, he's not even fully healthy right now.
No, that's right.
And give him 3 more weeks. Give him 3 weeks to get healthy, dude. Think of what he can be. And you're right. He didn't. You know, it's kind of like the Lane Kiffin backhanded compliment thing. He was like, yeah, you know, I've never been a part of something like this, and you know, I love he's taking shots at Florida. Kind of. I mean, maybe he didn't mean it that way, but I believe it was. So.
And y'all know how I feel about Frazier. I love Frazier more than anybody. But ETN, he won me over.
He looked good. He looked good last night.
Amazing, amazing. I'm
curious
about Paul's. I'm curious about this.
I'm going to go Gunner Stockton, guys. And the reason being is not for any stats. Dude, you got to have a pair of nuts on you, brother.
Yeah, no doubt.
They call you in at halftime and say, hey, brother, Carson's arm is it's dangling. And I know you haven't gotten any chance to play except for against Tennessee Tech. But I'd like for you to go out here and maybe lead this team. I know we're down right now. We only had 54 yards of offense in the first half. But if you wouldn't mind, Gunner, put this team on your back and take us to a bye in the college football playoff.
Yeah. He said, okay.
That's what he did, man. And one of the coolest things, and I don't know if you guys caught this, somebody put it on Twitter. Yeah. The first play when Gunner and ETN are in the backfield, and ETN goes over there and slaps him on the ass, and Gunner kind of slaps him on the helmet. And it was like, it was just like one of those movies, where, you know, the 2 guys are like, yeah, we're going to go F some S up, you know,
I think it shows how good ETN is, realizing like, okay, I'm a freshman or I'm a junior, and I see not a freshman, but like I can help this guy out. Like, yeah, you got it, dude. Like, it's okay. Yeah, no, that's some Trevor Etienne stuff right there. That's like
Paul, does Nicole watch the games with you?
Yeah, sometimes.
Did she watch it last night?
She watched last night, yeah.
Okay, so I'll just one up you on this. So when he came in, this is what I love about this. My wife Kelly's like, "Oh my gosh, that's Gunner. We got to root for this. This is so fun. We hope he wins the SEC champion," and he did. So it got the women excited about Georgia, in my opinion.
I also thought it was I thought it was very cool that Carson Beck's mom was sitting in front of Gunner Stockton's mom.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah,
and like they just happened to both be there, and like they hug each other, and was like it was almost poetic, and like she was handing it off to Gunner.
All right, and how cool was it to see Beck over there as excited as anyone when Gunner was playing good? Yeah, that's this team.
And I don't mean that from the way he looks. I'm talking about the storybook thing, the Disney. I mean, just so cool.
Yeah, it and I'm sure they are, Garrett. Both those moms have been around a long time with this Georgia program. You got to think both those guys. Gunner's been here 3 years.
This is his third year. This is Gunner's
third year.
His third year.
Yeah, and is Carson's fifth?
Yeah. Did he get a concussion on that hit? Has anybody said that or heard that?
They asked Kirby. Kirby said no, right?
How?
I don't know. He went and talked to the press afterwards. It didn't sound like he was, I mean,
how did he A, not get a concussion, and B, blow his knee?
How did his knee not just die?
Yeah. I mean,
I wasn't even focused on the knee, guys. Until
I was.
After I saw a couple folks in the POS last night say like, "Oh, his knee," and I just didn't see it, and I watched it after because I went to bed, and I always do this after the post game show. I try to watch Kirby's post game, and then the opposing coach, at least some of it, if there's some talking points, which there were last night, and then I try to watch the game highlights if they're out from ESPN, which is like 18 minutes, so it's about an hour long that I watch, and I watched his knee go back, and it was probably midnight last night. I was like, God almighty, like that's what they were talking about. It was rough.
Foster said Gunner looked a little wobbly, and he looked like he
did.
His eyes rolled back, brother.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. That's why I asked that question. But I'll say this going forward: he runs like a running back when he takes off. I mean, he Carson Beck is nothing compared to him when he runs the football.
Look, I'll tell you when Gunner won me over last night was when he was running out of bounds. And that Texas
first play,
he kind of got on top of him, and then he started talking a little shit on the sidelines. I was like,
the sidelines went crazy.
Yeah, I was like, okay, awesome. All right, like that's when this dude has no fear. He's come in and he's talking junk on the first play. Like, come on now. So that's my player of the game. Who's the consensus?
Good call.
I mean, there's two. I would say Dalen Everett.
Eddie took one. So.
Yeah, I mean that's. Dalen Everett, he's got to be right because he's the
MVP, right?
Yeah, he was the MVP. So I mean, he had 2 interceptions and he had a really good game. So I would say Dalen Everett would be the consensus.
Yeah, that even though during Kirby's press conference he said, "Yeah, I love Everett and all, but I think Etienne damn,
he got Etienne out." Yeah.
You don't got to do that, Kirby. Let that man have his MVP. As far as the M. Jones play of the game.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Before you go to that, did you see what I wrote after that, Paul? I know you don't read the notes. Arian Smith did it to us again, right? Because we were all like, bench this dude. He sucks. And then second half, he makes plays.
Eddie, I said it in the group chat. I said, look, there's the drop.
Yep.
Now, what is he going to do to help this team win?
And he did it again.
It's crazy. He will do that.
The little pass Bobo made to him on the fake punt. And he catches and goes, and I mean, he just drives you crazy, and then he wins you a football game. It's crazy.
Here's the crazy part. I don't know if you guys really went back and watched that fake punt. Bobo's eyes were kind of over here, and then he just
he gave it away. I haven't seen.
No, he didn't give it away. He was looking the opposite way. Yeah, and they snapped the ball, and he just happened to look back. Like it was perfect time. Like had it been a split second different, that ball would have hit him right in the gut. And then
why couldn't Herb Street call out the right name at that point? He kept calling him the wrong name.
Who?
He never called him Bobo. He kept saying he I don't know who he was calling. He said some other name. Y'all didn't catch that? He never said Bobo.
I'll be honest with you. When I saw Arian Smith running by and I saw him flip the ball, I was running around my kitchen and living room so much I didn't hear anything. I was cheering and beating on the. Yeah, I have no idea what they said, so I don't have any idea.
Didn't mean to interrupt there. Go ahead.
The M. Jones play of the game. We don't have a consensus, so we'll have to go with one that you guys think. But Andy, go ahead. What you got?
Well, so I took for the in the fourth quarter, there was 2 minutes and 38 seconds left in the game, and Gunner threw the pick to Barron, but Lawson Lucky ran him down and tackled him, and he saved because he probably scores a touchdown if Lucky doesn't get him, and that's the drive that Texas ended up getting 3 instead of the touchdown. If they score the touchdown, the game's over. We go to overtime and we win the game. So
there's a picture, Andy, of somebody on the sidelines right there.
Mm-hmm.
Texas had 4 dudes ready for a convoy. And the only red jersey was Lawson
Lucky. Yeah.
There was nobody was going to get to him
except call.
Because where Gunner threw that ball.
Yeah, it was the whole whole team was over here.
Yeah. The whole play was on the other side. It's just one of those you probably don't go to overtime if you don't throw that. You hopefully try not to. You can kick the field goal. Yeah. But it all worked out in the end. But yeah, that was a Lawson Lucky hell of a play on that.
Did he make another big play in the game?
I think he did. What you got, Eddie?
I have him. It's Brock Bowers. There's a side-by-side Brock Bowers doing the Ohio State yoga thing that he did to stay in bounds, and then the Lawson Lucky catch with that toe scrape. I mean, Kirk Herbstreit went bananas on that play after the replay, and that was the first drive. It was only a 2nd and 6, but to make that 13, 14-yard catch gave Gunner a lot of confidence, and that was probably the catch of the year. I mean, that was a ridiculous play because he was millimeters away from that wide line.
Yeah, he was right next to it. Yeah,
that was absurd. So
it's crazy how crazy Kirk Herbstreit went on that play. I haven't seen Kirk that jacked up in a while for a game. I want to say.
Wait, do you do these on the fly, or do you have these before the show? I'm seriously asking.
He's got it all up in his head.
You want the honest truth?
Yes, I want the honest truth.
Up until about 7:15, brother, I'm all kids, man. And I'm doing kid stuff with both my kids. I have you guys send this email.
So it's on the fly. You're doing it now.
The first time I see this stuff is where I'm scrolling through it, baby. You could put, Paul is a terrible human in here, and I wouldn't find it.
Oh, it's in there. You just gotta look. It's in there.
Yeah. Line 37. Line 37. He got you.
Yeah, I wouldn't find it till about 8 o'clock. No, I think kind of looking back to play of the game, I want to go with one of Everett's interceptions, but I don't know which one. Maybe the first one. It just kind of set the tone.
Yeah.
We got nothing out of that. We went 3 and out.
I know. But it also kept Texas from going down and scoring, which most teams have done on their first or second drives. And Georgia's behind the 8 ball fairly fast. They still got behind the 8 ball, but just imagine if he did intercept that and how bad that first half would have gone. And you could also these are other plays of the game that don't really get talked about, but stopping Texas in that first half and making them kick field goals. Because let's be honest, this game should have been 24 to nothing.
3
right?
Nothing. Yeah.
3-0. Yeah, 24-3 at halftime, and it doesn't matter if Gunner Stockton comes in and plays like Tim Tebow. You're not going to come back and win that game.
Yeah,
but
you know what I had written. You know what I had written out. You know what I had written out, which is kind of lame, and I crossed it off. Is that 5-yard penalty they had when they missed the field goal? Y'all remember that?
That was huge because he made the field goal.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He made the first field goal, and then they had a 5-yard penalty, and then he missed it.
Yes, that was huge. Yeah,
is that I don't know? Is that the consensus play of the game?
I think
it's a big play.
Is the fake punt.
It's the fake punt. It's got to be the
fake punt, right?
It's got to be. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah. Because there was no chance Georgia was going to punt that. The guy that was back there was the backup place kicker.
Yes.
Georgia's backup punter, I don't think traveled. I don't think he was there. He's a freshman that they just signed this really good, but that was a backup place kicker, William Ham, that was back there. Yeah. And they just called somebody. They were like, "Hey, Ham, you look like you can punt. Come back here.
You have a punter up or get in the backfield."
Right. That's what happened.
So does that not go back to coaching? Because if you think back a few years ago, we ran that fake punt with Justin Fields, and who was coaching on the other sideline and saw that? Nick Saban.
That was Nick Saban.
That's right. Sark saw that, or maybe he didn't see it. I don't know. He got fooled.
Yeah, Sark might have been about 6 beers.
Marshmallow always gets me, man. Always gets me. Alex Pace said the backup did travel but didn't dress. Well, that does you no good. Why is he? What is he just eating the food, Alex? He just hanging out. He gets a couple free hotel nights. Racking up his Marriott points. Why is he not dressed? All right, guys. Here's the bracket. Let me get this pulled up here.
Okay.
Oh man, there's an error in your link.
Oh
my gosh.
I did pull this. I will say I did pull this up because I saw the link here, and I also saw the link in the GHSA. The GHSA one is not working either, Andy. Neither one of these are working. You're the IT guy.
But you know what? You sent this out at 1:00 today, so he could have.
And they both worked. They both worked, Edward.
Oh, well,
hang on. They both worked. Yeah, like Marshmallow said, it's unrehearsed, baby. We're just here
doing it on the fly. Fly.
Can you send it in the old private chat?
I can.
Oh, Garrett says failed by Andy. I'm not going to say it's a fail because they did work earlier. They're not working now.
Yeah, this is on the host. Try that. Will that work?
Is it on the host? I don't know if it's on the host. Let's be honest. All right. Yeah. Present, share screen. There we go.
Yeah, the audience just loves this, right?
Yeah, they really just love this. There's the bracket, guys.
There we go.
Georgia, that 2 seed is, huge.
It is.
And look, I'll be the first one to tell you I didn't want Georgia to play in this game. Didn't want them.
Oh, I'm with you 100%.
Didn't want it. Didn't care for it.
So if we didn't, now let's do this, Paul. If we speculate, we would be where Tennessee is. Do you think?
I don't know. You'd be a 3-loss team.
No. I said if we didn't play I guess if you don't.
Yeah.
Well, who knows?
That's hard to do. That's hard to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I would say you're probably where Penn State is.
Let's say we lose. Let's say we lose last night. Where are we?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you lose last night, you're probably where Penn State is, and maybe Notre Dame.
I would say the Notre Dame 7. But
so we're playing at home against Indiana.
Yeah, that's
here's the thing. Then you're gonna wrap around and you're gonna play Texas again, probably, right?
Yeah. Which that's not really a bad thing.
I don't know if have their number 3 times, dude.
Yeah, I agree. I just didn't want to do that, but yeah.
If we play them again, it'll be in the national championship for sure. So,
well, look at the bottom half of the bracket, dude.
Oh yeah, this is a great draw. This is fantastic.
Yeah, that's. I saw someone Foster comment, and he said Oregon got screwed. If we're being honest, and that's the thing. You look at Oregon, they Tennessee or Ohio State, but now Arizona State's not whatever. But Clemson and Texas,
but Arizona State's probably
I don't know
coming out of that bracket.
Yeah, they're getting Texas. Yeah, it's most likely. But look, I wouldn't sleep on the winner of that Tennessee-Ohio State game versus Oregon.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's going to be a football game. And not to say that we can sleep on Indiana or Notre Dame either, but
I'm going to say it. Ohio State, Tennessee compared to Indiana, Notre Dame, Oregon's going, dude, what the hell? Like,
yeah.
And here's the thing, like Tennessee and Ohio State, both those teams have coaches that just can lose them a game. Like they literally can. We've seen it with Ryan Day. We've seen it with Heupel. Like they can lose them a game, but they both have teams full of studs.
Yeah,
like Ohio State's got dudes that can overcome sorry coaching. Like
they do.
It doesn't matter what you tell that dude. He's going to go catch the ball. That Jack Sawyer dude on the defensive line for Ohio State doesn't care how you coach him. He's going to get to the quarterback. Like those are 2 tough teams, but.
We saw the Ohio State game versus Oregon. That was a close game. Like Ohio State should have won it. So that's the thing. That's a tough pull for Oregon.
It is. But hey, it's the way that these, and I heard a lot of folks complaining about this, especially Nick Saban with Alabama talking about we and stuff like that. Like, come on, you're not part of Alabama anymore. I know you're wearing the Clemson jacket, but
I really thought he was going to cry on air.
Here's the thing with that though. Just beat Vanderbilt, man. Like, when Georgia fans cried last year and they got bumped out because they just beat Bama, dude, and you're in. Like, at the end of the day, you win that game, you're in. FSU had a gripe. FSU is the only team that had a gripe. They went under. They couldn't do anything better than what they did last year. Right. But Georgia last year, you got bumped, man. Yep. Like, it is what it is. You should have won the game. Now, same thing with Bama. You beat Vandy, beat Oklahoma. Like, with their
backup 3 points against Oklahoma.
Yeah, with their backup quarterback and 6 of their top 7 wide receivers out.
I mean, they got smoked by them, and that's what I'm like. Shut up, and that's what I do hate. I like Saban on TV. I think he's really good, but I do hate that we just.
And look, I watched that SMU Clemson game last night. SMU came back and battled in that second half.
Their quarterback's good. Their quarterback's a baller.
They don't have any like crazy good guys, but they've got a good team. It's a team over me over there at SMU. Anyway, that's my soapbox.
Do you think if Clemson blows out SMU like it started, do you think if they do that, Bama gets in? Do you think that comeback got them in? I think it did.
I think
probably.
It did.
Yeah. I mean, losing last second on a 56-yard field goal is probably what got them in, right?
Yeah. Because
if they lose by 7, because they were down 17 in the fourth quarter.
That's right.
To Clemson.
That's right.
You lose by 17, if not 24. Clemson scores another touchdown. Yeah, they're probably putting Bama in.
I agree.
I agree.
But it's just.
Do you guys want to do a little Peach State Power Hour Final 12 bracket with everyone?
God. Is there like an app we can do that with?
Well, I was going to tell the guys, everyone watching, if they want to be a part of it, email me your bracket, and we'll see who gets the winner. Maybe.
Oh, there we go. All right, put your email out, Andy. What's your email? I'll put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat. It's andy.stowe14@gmail.com. Andy.stowe14. How about that? Our quarterback's number 14. Andy.stowe14@gmail.com. If you want to be a part of it, just send it to us, and we'll make us a. How about?
You know what? I think Garrett can also do this for us. Garrett, while you're watching, you got 20 minutes. Create us a group on ESPN, Garrett.
Garrett doesn't have time for that. He's busy. He's
Garrett,
busy.
Do that for us while you're in your undies. Do it. All right. While we go through this, Notre Dame, Indiana, guys, I will tell you. Notre Dame scares me a little bit, man.
Why?
Riley Leonard is a better version of Haynes King. Notre Dame's offensive line is a better version of Georgia Tech. Jeremiah Love is a better version of Jamal Haynes. Their defense is a better version of Georgia Tech.
Is it?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I believe so.
Do you know what Texas's defense is ranked, Paul?
Yeah, it was ranked first, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, it's third.
Can I give a shout out to Blaine Gilmer? Blaine Gilmer said, he was talking about Notre Dame. They are 101 in the nation in passing offense. He said, if you think you're going to show up in the Sugar Bowl and run it down Georgia's throat, you are sadly mistaken.
Okay.
And he said,
I'll give you the offensive rankings. I wrote these down.
Texas, top 50 passing offense.
Texas is 10th. Indiana is 24th. Notre Dame is 39th in total offense. Okay. Texas is third in defense. You know who's second? Indiana in defense. And Notre Dame is ninth. Look it up, Paul. I looked it up for the show.
So their running back they got, Jeremiah Love, averaging 7.1 a carry, 15 touchdowns. Riley Leonard, 14 touchdowns, 5.8, 721 yards.
Yeah. That's legit. Legit.
Look, Andy, look. Georgia has a problem with the RPO.
I agree.
They have a problem with it, and this team can run it. So what I'm telling you is, much like Jermaine just said, pull for Indiana. Pull for Indiana in this game.
Look, I do believe Indiana is a easier matchup for the Dogs, but I'm going to say this.
Eddie, why are you shaking your head?
No, because I think what we just played last night is tougher than both of these teams.
Texas A&M.
That doesn't mean anything, though.
Of course it does.
Listen, this is who they've played. Texas A&M, Northern Illinois. Who beat Notre Dame? Oh, Northern Illinois. Purdue,
and
Miami.
You keep going back to Paul. What you're doing is you're going back to Tech, and you're saying, "Oh, they just destroyed us." This is different, okay? We heard from Andy. I'm not going to give any sources that Georgia overlooked Tech. They did. They overlooked Tech. It was obvious. They're not going to overlook a first round of the playoffs. They're just not. Okay? They're not going to do that.
I am with you, Paul. They do have that running quarterback, and Paul is 100% correct. That is a 741 yards or 21 yards from a quarterback that can run. It's been our kryptonite. It has definitely been our kryptonite.
They lost to Northern Illinois at home.
That was week 2, Eddie.
I don't care. Did Georgia lose to McNeese State at home? No.
What I'm telling you, though, is this Georgia team looks a little bit different from their losses, too, right?
They do.
A little bit different from Alabama and Ole Miss right now. Week 2 was so long ago.
Teams scare me.
Okay. So you're saying neither team scares you? Don't care who you wouldn't. No, so when you're watching Indiana Notre Dame, you're going to have your feet kicked up and you say, "Oh, whoever comes and plays Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, I'm all right with it."
I don't care.
You're
care.
Crazy.
Well, Eddie, I will say this: Curtis Rourke, the quarterback for Indiana, he is 202 for 287. He's got 2,827 yards. He has a 70% completion percentage, and he has 27 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. But he has 41 carries for negative 25 yards. Now, yeah, he has some, pretty solid passing numbers. But if the dude is no threat to run, you talking about 13, you talking about those guys pinning their ears back and they're coming after him. So I do think it gives us a better shot if we play Indiana. I'm not scared of Notre Dame, though. I'm not scared of them.
I can tell you guys right now, Notre Dame at home is winning this football game. I'll say it right now. They're winning. We're going to play Notre Dame. That's what we're playing. And I'm not scared of them. Sorry. Paul, you could go in the corner and get under the covers and sob and do all that crap. And, oh, my God, we're going to lose. Sorry. We're not losing to Notre Dame. We're not.
Foster Moss says Rudy ain't coming out of the tunnel. That's right. He is 100%. Look,
Garrett's got the link. I'll tweet it out as well, guys. So we can all get in that too. Angela says, but who has Notre Dame played? That's the advantage Georgia has. We are seasoned and experienced against difficult teams. Georgia, Oregon, and that. Look, I agree
like Angela A. 100%.
I agree with her. Georgia's grit is by far the best on this board. No questions asked. I'm not scared of Notre Dame either, guys. I'm just saying if you could pick.
Yeah, I'm with
Indiana to come play in the Sugar Bowl instead of Notre Dame. Plays your strengths a little bit better. Speaking of that first round, guys, we got the spreads, the opening lines, if you will. I'm sure these will change a little bit. Have either one of you looked at this?
No.
Okay, cool. All right, awesome. Indiana Notre Dame opening line is.
They got Notre Dame as a 4.5-point favorite.
Edward?
I thought. Are you guessing? Or are you reading?
I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's guessing. Yeah.
Okay. Notre Dame 5.5.
7.5. Notre Dame.
Okay.
So a touchdown and a hook. SMU and Penn State.
Penn State's 14-point favorite.
And Eddie.
7 and a hook.
7 and a hook. Penn State right on cue, Eddie. What a play, baby.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Clemson, Texas.
Texas 3 and a hook.
I think that's low. I'm going to say Texas 10.
Eddie's on a roll, brother. 10 and a half. 10 and a hook. 10 and a
really?
Hook.
Oh my gosh!
Give me the lottery numbers, Eddie. What do you? I mean,
dude, right, you got one more, Eddie. You got to be close.
You go first. You go first, Eddie. Yeah.
Tennessee, Ohio State.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's at the shoe.
3.5.
I'm gonna say 5.5.
7. Ohio State -7.
Wow.
That seems really high.
Yeah, that does seem high. That does.
Out of all of these, that one. Both of you missed it the most, and there's probably a reason why. That one seems 4. Like to me, it seems like Ohio State 4.
Yeah.
I
mean,
they haven't.
Tennessee's. I mean, they've been through the battles, right?
Tennessee's going to win that game. That's what's going to happen. Tennessee is beating Ohio. Yeah, I think they beat them in the shoe.
Look, that's a right now Tennessee's plus 240. So every $100 you win $240. It's not a bad little bet right there to put on Tennessee to win that thing. That's pretty good. With that being said, guys, real quick, before we get to this GHSA, because I do want to get to that. We got 10 minutes left. Let's run through this bracket. Let's see if we can't get a consensus here.
Okay.
Because we had a consensus of Georgia's regular season schedule being, was it 11-1?
11-1 is what we ended up on. Yeah.
Right. Let's see if we can get this consensus right. I feel like
wait a minute. I picked Georgia 10-2.
Right, but consensus
I
out
was
of all
12
three of us. Yeah, Andy was 12-0 and I was 11-1, so we had to go 11. We didn't agree on every. We had to get 2 out of 3, right? Yeah. If it was a win or a loss.
Okay.
But shout out to you, Eddie. I don't think you picked the games right, though. I don't think
I did. I missed the games, but I got yeah.
Let's start up top. Texas, Clemson.
Texas.
I agree with that.
Texas. Yeah, got to go Texas there. Yeah. Ohio State, Tennessee.
I'm kind of with Andy. I think Tennessee here.
I think Tennessee goes to the shoe and wins it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Ohio State, but since it's a majority, we'll go Tennessee. SMU, Penn State. I think Penn State here.
Yeah. Penn State.
I don't know.
Eddie, you can convince me if you want. If you want to go SMU,
I'm gonna go SMU. I just am not impressed. SMU. I don't get Penn State. I don't get it.
We're going SMU then, Andy. So lock that in. He flipped me. Indiana, Notre Dame.
Irish, all day.
Yeah.
Notre Dame.
All right, so we got Arizona, Texas. Arizona State, excuse me, Texas.
Texas for sure.
Yeah, Texas.
I like that quarterback. I'm going to say Arizona State just because. But y'all are.
Yeah, we got 2 on it. We'll go Texas. Damn, I think that's going to be a closer. I think it's going to be a really fun.
I think so too. That is going to be fun.
So we have Oregon, Tennessee here because you guys both went Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got to go Oregon here.
Where is that game? Is that on the Rose Bowl?
Oh, I knew you would ask that.
Sorry.
Yes, it is the Rose Bowl. Yes.
I'm gonna go Oregon then. Yeah, for sure.
Oregon there over Tennessee. Okay. We got Boise, SMU.
I would take SMU in that game.
Wow.
But I think SMU or Penn State will beat Boise State. I think either of those teams will beat Boise.
I disagree with you. I think Boise State wins that game.
Okay, Paul.
Oh, damn! So I'm the swing vote here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can go SMU to the Final Four. That's my only holdup. It's because truly, Eddie, you had to convince me to not take Penn State because we should have probably had Penn State here, if we're being honest. But I wanted to go against the grain a little bit. I do like SMU, even though that game, like we said, is a 7.5 point spread in Penn State's favor, and it's in Happy Valley. Probably going to be cold as hell.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Boise State here to save our bracket, boys.
Okay.
That's our only shot at saving that bracket, I think.
Okay.
Georgia, Notre Dame.
Please.
I like Georgia's path. I'm taking Georgia.
All right, we're taking Georgia there.
Yeah.
We got Texas and Oregon in the semifinals.
Man. I'm going Oregon here.
Texas.
Oh, no, man.
The defense. That defense travels. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Oh, man. I really don't want to swing vote this. Yeah, can one of you guys convince each other to switch?
Number 1 defense in the country.
I know, man. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be the swing vote on this.
I believe.
And Lanning. Come on.
It is. Hey, I love it.
But damn if he hasn't tried to give a couple games away this year.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Look, if we're going to be I still don't know.
Where is that game? Where is this game?
Oregon's going to get out of the freaking I don't know if they get out of the quarterfinals.
The semifinal for Georgia would be at the in Miami. I don't remember.
Right. Where is this game?
Because Georgia can go Atlanta, Miami, Atlanta. I mean, New Orleans.
NOLA. Yeah.
The semifinal, that game is going to be in the Cotton Bowl. So that'll be Texas, right?
Ooh.
Oh.
Look, they're in the Cotton Bowl. They're in Texas.
That's tough, man. That's tough.
All right. I'm just saying.
Texas.
That means we have the Dawgs versus Boise State. And this is not 2002 when they come in when we're wearing those Power Ranger uniforms.
I was at that game. I was at that game too. That was horrible.
Georgia, right? Georgia.
Georgia. This is stomping. Like Yeah.
And for the national championship, Paul Maharry, our faithful host, who do you pick between the Dawgs and the Texas Longhorns? One more time for the third time in the season. In Atlanta, in our back door, where we just beat them just last night.
God almighty, beat them 3 times, dude.
Beat them 3 times in 1 year. Can the Dawgs do it? Can Kirby, can the number 14, the freshman quarterback or the rookie quarterback?
We have their number. I mean, come on.
Trevor Etienne leads the Dawgs after sticking it to the Florida Gators. Comes to Atlanta.
Really going to pick Texas on this
Wears
show?
the red and the black.
I mean, come on.
To a national championship one more time.
Georgia.
I mean, come on.
So there's our bracket. We'll tweet it out from all of our accounts. There's our that's the consensus bracket.
That's fun though. That was fun.
Jermaine is right though. He said if they win 1 out of 3 and the 1 is the Natty, that would be devastating.
It would be devastating.
KC says, appreciate the donate. KC says, I like the QB for Oregon, going Oregon over Texas.
I agree with that. I agree with him.
That's a flip right there. That's really a coin flip between Oregon and Texas. That's probably the closest game I would think between all of these.
You struggled over that, didn't you, Paul?
Yeah, that was tough. Yeah. That was a tough one. Brett Weimer says 9 overtime. We're going to lose so many people, Brett, from strokes.
My organs are going to be on the floor.
Yeah, the collective will be no more because everybody that has money to give to them, they're all old. And they'll all be
dead.
On the floor. Yeah, because they won't be able to handle it. You'll have so many ambulances leaving Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's unreal. You go to 9 overtimes.
That's so true.
They're just all the suites are just getting their old folks. They're just shipping them out on cots. They can't take it anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Real quick before we get out of here, guys, we got this here, which I always love. It is the GHSA.
Yeah.
Where is it? There it is. GHSA finals, baby. Weird that they're doing this. I did not like this. I'm gonna be honest with you. That they were doing this on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I was like, damn, I really kind of like that they are doing it on, because it spreads it out. Used to be they had this on they tried to squeeze in almost.
They started Saturday at 10 a.m.
Yeah. All day long. Thank you.
And then by the time you get to the 6A one, it's supposed to start at 8:30 and it's like 11:30 at night.
Right.
And so let me see if I can. Is that zooming in for you guys?
It is.
Yeah. That's better.
Let's see. Yeah.
How about the Marist and North Oconee? That is going to be a football game.
So Brent Rollins and I now have a we
have Monday, December 16th, guys. The 1A Division 2. So that's division. I don't know what they're doing. It's Class A. It's 1A. They're in 2 divisions now. Bowden versus Brooks County, and then that Monday night you got the Fighting Eddie from Acworth against the Fighting Brent Rollins and David Pollocks. That's gonna be a really fun game to watch. You got Lynn and Roldan for North Oconee, and then you got a bunch of just dudes from Marist that will be accountants in 4 years after
you
they
were
go.
Very high on him, right? Aren't you, Paul? Didn't you say he's probably our best wide receiver commit we've had in several years?
Yeah, he's a dude.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll watch him play. That's going to be great.
Tuesday, December 17th, Northeast. Never heard of that. But shout out to them for getting to the championship game versus Toombs County. I have heard of Toombs County. Yeah. They've been there a lot. So good luck, Northeast. Have fun with that.
Northeast drilled Fitzgerald 46-21.
Where are they from?
Fitzgerald's a good program.
Northeast of what, Andy?
Of Georgia.
Because they're not up here with me. I'm in Northeast Georgia. I've never heard of them. You got 2A, Burt County.
Macon. They're Macon, Georgia.
Oh, so Northeast Macon. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to them. Congrats. It's hard for a team down there in Macon, especially in 1A to be competitive, because all their guys will go to the big schools down there if they're any good. So shout out to them. Keith McCants had us. He said Northeast Macon. There we go. Burt County, they got some dudes over there. Carver Columbus does too, though. That's going to be you want to talk about a 2A matchup? There's some dudes fighting in that one. And then the big one on Tuesday night, you got Langston Hughes, who's always counted out. Every time I watch Langston Hughes, I'm like, man, I don't know if they can win this game.
They're beasts.
And then they got Milton.
Yeah, but I think this is going to be a blowout. Milton is just loaded.
Milton has a chance, guys, if they win this game, to go on to the national and win the national championship of high school.
Yeah.
They're really good. And then wrapping it up on Wednesday, you got the old school from down the road from UGA, Prince Avenue Christian versus Hebron Christian, which is not too far. They're over in Decula. So they know each other fairly well. 4 p.m., you got Jefferson versus Calhoun. That's a game.
Mm-hmm.
And then 7 p.m., Carrollton knocked out Buford. Carrollton's going to have to face Grayson, though.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
They beat Buford by 13 points, too. I mean, that's impressive. Buford's a powerhouse, and they beat them by 2 scores.
They did. And Juju played. He was healthy. So
crazy.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. And again, I was a little upset, but then I saw, 7 p.m. on Monday, I can watch Marist versus North Oconee. 7 p.m. on Tuesday, I can watch Langston Hughes versus Milton. And 7 p.m. on Wednesday, I can watch Grayson versus Carrollton.
Yeah,
sign me the hell up, brother. I will be in front of the TV for
That's better than Maction, right? I mean, come on. That's what we get.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
Guys, we appreciate you joining us. That wraps up our hour here on the show. If we go any longer, Roddy charges us double, so we try to get out of here on time. If you could, before you head out, hit that subscribe button if you're not already. I know most of you are. But if you're not, appreciate it. Are all the games on GPB? Absolutely, March month. Check them out. Mm-hmm. Hit that like button if you're already subscribed. That helps us just as much. And we will see you next Sunday. What winter meetings? Maybe next Sunday. I don't know. We don't have much football to talk about.
Yeah, we won't have much football.
We won't. We're leading into the playoffs because there's been nothing, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a big. Oh, you know what? Oh, I spoke too soon, gentlemen. Transfer portal, baby.
Oh, that's right.
That's
Monday. It opens Monday, right?
It opens tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh,
hey, all I'm going to say is buckle up. There's going to be some more Georgia guys in there. And Michael Jackson deciding to announce that he was going in the transfer portal the night after, or the same night they won the SEC championship game. I find that a little odd, but
that's a little. Paul, over under, right quick. Over under 2.5 transfers the Dogs take.
Over.
Okay.
Over under. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Eddie.
No,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Over under 18 and a half transfers out of Georgia.
Yeah, I'm going to go under that. That seems high.
It might be a little higher. Guys, make sure you're tuned in with us. Stay with us all week. We'll talk to you next week. This is the Peach State Power Hour presented by UJSports.com. M. Jones HVAC. That's Andy Stowe, Eddie from Acworth. I'm Paul Maharry. We'll talk to you next week. Peace.